The past year has been nothing short of unprecedented, with the global pandemic challenging us in ways that few could have predicted. But if it's given any of you something to take away, I hope it's this: driving is an amazing way to escape the new normal we're living in. Whether you're just looking to blow off some steam or explore your own backyard, climbing behind the wheel sure as hell beats sitting around at home. And luckily there are plenty of great vehicles out there to take to the open road, so here are a few of my favorites I drove in 2020. Of all the cars on this list, the TAYCAN is the one I would have guessed would be here before I even drove it. And yet it still managed to impress me more than I thought it would. Truth be told, I wasn't so thrilled with it out on the track, but everywhere else the TAYCAN is an absolute joy. Whether you're talking about the sub 3-second sprints to 100 in the Turbo S model, or the way it cruises around so crisply, this is a driver's car first and foremost. But what I wasn't expecting was how much fun it would be to hypermile the TAYCAN like you normally would a Nissan Leaf. It brings a whole other level of enjoyment when you see that driving range climb higher and higher. But the best part is, all that electric torque is waiting for you when it's time to blast off down another country road. The AMG tuned A-Class hatchback is the exact opposite of the TAYCAN. Not that I didn't think it would be good, but it shocked me just how much I liked it, and this little thing quickly became one of my favorite cars on the market. It's like the spiritual successor to the fantastic Ford Focus RS, only precise and refined in ways that thing wasn't. There are a couple of even more powerful versions available in Europe that make as much as 420 horsepower, but the 302 you get here feels just right for this car. The turbo motor under the hood is also just one piece to the puzzle here, and it's the total package that makes it so special. The drivetrain is so quick to shuffle power around, and it's got mechanical grip for days, so no worrying about understeering your way to disaster. And then there's the cabin that looks and feels more special than any other hot hatch I can think of. Favorite doesn't always mean fun, and this new Kia crossover proves it and then some. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to drive compared to most other subcompacts out there, but that's not why it made this list. Instead, it's all about how awesome it is to live with. Compared to most little crossovers like it, the SELTOS has tons of space inside, with a roomy back seat and a big cargo compartment. Then there's all the tech you can get with it, like the big touchscreen on the dash and all kinds of advanced safety stuff. If all that's not enough, there's heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, and even heated rear seats, all in a crossover that barely costs $35,000 before tax. Simply put, no other subcompact crossover on the market does what the SELTOS does, and it truly sets a new standard for this segment. Don't ask me how a 380 horsepower sports car can seem so underrated, but that's where we're at with this reborn Supra. Maybe it's because of all the BMW parts or the fact you can't get it with a manual transmission, but it doesn't seem like the Supra gets the credit it deserves. I'm here to tell you that in spite of those criticisms that have been thrown at it, and as both a pure sports car and a GT car, the Supra is fantastic. It generates more than enough output from the straight six tucked between the fenders, and the chassis is impeccably balanced for performance and comfort. It's probably never going to get the credit that it deserves, but that's the way our expectations can ruin our sense of reality. All I can say is, man, the reborn Supra is a blast to drive. Anything powered by a 700 horsepower engine is worthy of consideration for a list like this one. It just so happens that the Jeep Grand Cherokee TRACKHAWK is easily the most ridiculous application of that supercharged V8 Dodge, Jeep, and Ram will stick into anything it fits. It's partly because no SUV has any right to sound like this one does, let alone be as quick. But it's also because it's like a Chesterfield on wheels that also hits like a sledgehammer. Oh, and it'll tow 7,200 pounds, so no problem getting your trailer around the Cabot Trail next summer. That's a pretty diverse list if I do say so myself, and honestly, it was a lot harder to whittle down to just 5 than I thought it was going to be. And you might not agree with all of them, but the best part is, you don't have to. It's my list. Seriously though, whether you've got $240,000 to spend on an all-electric spaceship of a sports sedan or $35,000 for a tiny crossover, there are lots of great options out there. I hope for all our sakes this pandemic is over sooner rather than later, but in the meantime, there's lots of open road for you to get out there and explore behind the wheel of your favorite ride too.